Breaking news, apparently in Islam, if you say talaq, maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong, maybe it's talaq, 3 times, you can have an instant divorce from your wife. She has to get the fuck out, like right then. I'd never heard this before. So there was an article on CNN. It's titled Triple Talaq. India's battle against 3 words that grant instant divorce. After I read this article, I went and looked this up in some other places, so I'll bring those up in a minute. With just 3 words, a 30-year-old woman from the northern Indian city of Jaipur became a single mother of 3 young children. Her husband instantly divorced her last year by saying talaq, 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 in a fit of anger after their 10-year-old daughter asked him for 5 rupees, which is equivalent of 7 cents. How dare she, that entitled little bitch. Triple talaq, as it is commonly called, is an ancient and controversial Islamic practice where a man divorces a woman by saying the word talaq, the Arabic word for divorce, 3 times. Sometimes it's even delivered by phone or text message. Those men, they got it fucking easy. Maybe I'll become a Muslim. That's all you gotta do to get divorced? Look at all the fucking red tape we gotta go through here.
That's a joke, by the way.
In theory, it's supposed to take about 3 months to go into effect, but in practice, it's often instantaneous. The woman's forced out of the house with barely a moment's notice. So in India, their law commission is trying to get this changed. India's got this crazy problem where the country's so big, there's so many people that in the villages on the outskirts, far away from the city, they can't control shit. The law out there is like the Wild West. It's run by corrupt cops and village elders, and they just basically go by primitive, like barbaric things. Like, if a woman gets raped, then she ends up going to jail or getting stoned to death and shit. Sometimes that happens in cities too. India is basically like barbaric times trying to clash with modern times, and it's kind of crazy. So I found another article in the Hindustan Times, a newspaper from New Delhi. 70% of callers to a helpline for Muslim women are men seeking info on triple talaq. An overwhelming number of callers at an all-India helpline for Muslim women are men who seek clarification on divorce and property rights for women. The toll-free helpline was set up by All India Muslim Personal Law Board last year to clarify, guide, and help distressed Muslim women on various aspects of the Sharia law, especially on the issue of triple talaq, where men can divorce them simply by stating their intention 3 times. I love the superstitious nature of this shit, dude. It's like, you gotta say it 3 times. Just saying it once isn't enough. But if I say this word to you 3 times, then it's final. And here's something from the Islamic Sharia Council.org site talking about talaq. Due to the financial responsibilities which he has to bear, the right to divorce in Islam is primarily given to the husband. Of course it is. A Muslim who wishes to divorce his wife is therefore advised to ask for an arbitration meeting arranged by elders of the couple so that a reconciliation may be reached. If those efforts fail, and the man sincerely thinks he cannot live a harmonious life with his wife, he may divorce her either verbally or in writing. In both cases, it's recommended that there be 2 witnesses present, blah, blah, blah. After the divorce is pronounced by the husband, the wife has a given waiting period where she's allowed to stay in the same house, but they cannot have sexual relations. I'm sure they can have sexual relations if the man goes after her, but she can't. And why would she want to have sexual relations with him when he's fucking divorcing her? The man is allowed to take her back either verbally saying, "I take you back," or physically by having intimate relations with her. See, what did I just say? I hadn't even read that far yet. So wait a second. You can divorce your wife just by saying a word 3 times, and then she's allowed to live in the house for a period of 30 days or 90 days or something, whatever it is, so that she can make arrangements to get the fuck out. And you're not allowed to have sexual relations between the 2 of you. But if the man decides he's changed his mind and he wants to take her back, he can either say, "I take you back," or he can just go fuck her. What about the part where there's not supposed to be any sexual relations between them? So he can just go fuck her and, okay, you're mine again now. I guess they just can't have sexual relations if he just still decides, I don't want to be with you, but I just want to fuck you. And I'm not taking you back this isn't a, I'm taking you back fuck. This is just a, I'm horny and I need to fuck. I guess that's what's going on. So after the waiting period, if the husband fails to fuck his wife back, then the wife is completely divorced and must leave the home immediately. When a man has pronounced 3 divorces on 3 different occasions, he can neither take back his former wife nor remarry her. Doesn't really say if it's the same woman. The Islamic Sharia Council says that for the procedure for the talaq, they recommend that you download this talaq form, fill it out, and email it to the Sharia Council, detailing the main reasons that you're seeking a divorce. And then, upon obtaining a fully completed application form with the relevant details from the applicant, the council will register the application. An application will not be registered if any details or documents requested on the application form are not included or... Yeah, I think anybody's just going to skip all this nonsense and they're just going to say the fucking word talaq 3 times, fill out some papers, and what are you applying for? What's the point in applying for a divorce if they're definitely going to grant it to you because you're the guy and you're saying you want a divorce? Men have all the rights in Islam. So what the fuck is the point in applying? The council conducts Islamic divorces only. It does not conduct cases as part of the UK or legal or judicial system. So this isn't for civil divorces, just for Islamic divorces which have no basis in law. Then on the religionofpeace.com website, what does Islam teach about divorce? Can a Muslim man divorce his wife simply by repeating, I divorce you 3 times? Yes. It is a controversial practice called the triple talaq. Anytime a wife is not menstruating, a husband may divorce her by saying, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, effectively throwing her out on the street and leaving him free to obtain a new. So it seems like what I read from the Islamic Sharia Council is how it's done in Britain, where they actually, make them have a little waiting period and there's like some formalities that take place, but pretty much everywhere else, Yemen, Iraq, India, Pakistan, it's just, you're out on the street, bitch. I think it's interesting that nothing else mentioned this. Even the CNN article didn't mention the menstruating part, so CNN's fake news. That's proof they omitted one tiny detail, so they're fake. So, to recap, if you're a Muslim family, and you're a Muslim man, you want to divorce your wife, as long as she is not on her period, you can divorce her by saying talaq 3 times. This is some crazy shit. What is it with saying a word 3 times? Why exactly does that do anything? It's like when you look in a mirror and you say Bloody Mary 3 times, and then Bloody Mary is supposed to appear out of nowhere and fucking murder you, straight up slice your throat. What is this shit? Talaq, 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 I divorce you. And it's over. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Ah, fucking shit. What the... Get the fuck out of here. No way. I don't want... God damn it. Why did I think of Beetle? Fuck. Motherfucker. Alright, he's gone. Annoying little shit. Stupid little striped suit. A dumbass. Well, some Islamic scholars believe that it isn't right to do this divorcey thing in one setting by saying the word 3 times in a row. They think there should be a period of time between each of the 3 strikes. Well, yeah, that would make a little more sense, Like, when you get in trouble at your job and they write you up, they can't just fire you on the... They can't be like, okay, we're giving you a verbal warning, a written warning, and a final termination right now. Goodbye, get the fuck out. They have to give you a verbal warning... And then, if you do the same shit within, a month, then you get a written warning. And then if you do the same thing again in a month, then you get your final termination. Leave, bitch. Under Islamic law, once a marriage is consummated, a wife has no right to divorce her husband without his permission, even though she may be cast out at will for any reason. That seems fair. But somehow there are feminists that say that we can't criticize Islam. Feminists defend this shit. How can a feminist defend that? So it's okay that women get treated like shit as long as it's for religious reason. That's some bullshit right there. Well, that's all I got to say about the 3 talaqs. Try that on your wife. Everybody comment and say talaq 3 times to your wife, your girlfriend, and tell them to get the fuck out and see what happens. Post in the comments what the response is. We're a diverse culture here in the United States, and men and women have equal rights, so women listening to this, go ahead and say talaq 3 times to your husband or your boyfriend. Tell them to get the fuck out. Let me know how that works out. What a dumb, fucking stupid religion is man-made, motherfuckers.